little bit of a check on the weather and the snow update. Looks like a little bit more than we had just before Christmas, so we've gotten a little bit of snow. And it is currently very cold outside. When I woke up this morning, it was 0 degrees, and now it is 5. It's gone all the way up to 5 degrees. Usually I open the door and the screen to show you this view, but it is currently frozen shut. Welcome to Minnesota. Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels the Second. This is a very important video that I'm shooting right now because it is the very first video of 2019. I already did my Happy New Year video last week, so I'm not doing that again, but I do want to just clean up a couple things before we get started here to start off the new year right. First of all, I am making some playlists available for my YouTube channel where if you want to start watching all of these episodes from the very beginning, you'll be able to do that. I'm adding every video as I go along, I'm adding it to that playlist. So if down the road, when these videos start accumulating and piling up and you want to watch it right from the start and how this all progressed along the way, you'll be able to do that. I'll also be adding some other ones like holiday videos eventually, and maybe these top 5 lists will be their own category as well, which is what we're going to be doing today, is a top 5 list on the top 5 best places to visit in Minnesota. And in this is an idea from my very wonderful friend Aaron, who was my second subscriber on Tommy Travels the Second. And so this list is really just for you. And for anybody else watching too, but mostly just for you. And so what I've done is, instead of just taking the top 5 places in general to visit that you could find on any list anywhere, I'm going to do the top 5 places that I've actually visited and been to. And so then if you've got some suggestions on what other places I should take a look at, then you can put them in the comments below. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Welcome to another edition of Tommy Travels the Second. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now so you don't miss out on a thing. And so come on with me. Let's go see what there is to see. And so before we start today, also, I got a new subscriber. I'm up to 3 now. I've gone from a couple to a few, which sounds like more. And so now I'm going to shoot for a handful and then maybe a baker's dozen down the road. So right now I've got Andy, number 1, my dear friend Aaron, number 2, and both of them are in the United States, but I got my first subscriber from outside of the country, from the Alps of all places. And that subscriber is what seems to be a wonderful person named THLR. And I checked out his channel as well, and he does cinematic videos with nature and things like that, and does better editing than I will ever do. So if you need a mini vacation like we've talked about recently, that would be a good channel to check out. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well, to his channel. So thank you to all 3 of my subscribers. I am doing well, moving forward. And here's to many more to come. And so now on to the top 5 best places to visit in Minnesota. And so the first place I would have to say would be the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Why do I say that place? 2 reasons. If you love The Wizard of Oz, you will love this place. There's no doubt about it. They've got a museum up there, and then they've got the house that Judy Garland was actually born in attached to the museum. So you get to see all sorts of history on Judy Garland. You get to see the house that she was born in with authentic furniture and furnishings that are around there, like a piano in the living room, the kitchen set up, the bedroom set up. It's not their actual family furniture, obviously, but it is from pictures and photos that they've taken, very authentic to what they would have had at the time. So it looks about as much like what her house would have actually looked like at that time when she was born and growing up in that house for the short time that they lived there. I think she was just there for the first few years of her life, but very cool house to walk through. If you're not a fan of the museum, well, or Judy Garland at all, well then maybe this isn't the best place for you. Maybe that you scratch that one right off the list, but there might be other things to do up there in Grand Rapids, and the drive up there is beautiful, and that's the other reason I would put this on the list, is because even if you don't like Judy Garland, which I don't know why you really wouldn't. I mean, it's the Wizard of Oz, for crying out loud. So the drive up there is amazing, and then it has some really cool things to see in there as well. So that goes on the list for the top 5. That is number 5. And then for the 4th one, we would say Big Stone Minigolf in Minnetrista, Minnesota. I had never heard of this place ever in my life. Never, ever, ever. Yeah, that is plenty of evers already. Somebody at my work suggested that I go up there and check it out, and I did, and it's unbelievable. When I went there, I didn't even know I was approaching a business. It looked like I was approaching somebody's house in the country. There's no great signage from the road. You have to really know that it's there in order to find it. But if you do find it, it is well worth checking out. This guy, he's more of a sculptor than he is a mini golf establishment owner. And so he really built a mini golf course inside of his sculpture garden that he created. There are metal sculptures everywhere in this place. It is absolutely fascinating. And then he's got live animals all around. I did a whole adventure there. I didn't even get into the mini golf part of it. It was that fascinating. I didn't have time to look at everything. So if you've never been to Minnesota, or if you've lived in Minnesota all your life, check out Big Stone Minigolf. It is amazing. And then you have to check out the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum. I went there in the fall. I had never been to this place either. And it is incredible. You can drive through a path or walk through, and it has different little areas with sculpture gardens. I'm going to put a link to my adventure from Tommy Travels, my main channel, in the description. You can check out that adventure. But I went there in the fall, and they've got trees of different kinds that you can go see, like if you like weeping willows. They've got a whole section of just weeping willows. If you like prairies, they've got a whole section of that place that is just like prairie land set up. They've got the sculpture garden, as I mentioned. They have a whole visitor center. They've got a beekeeping place and how bees work. I didn't even get a chance to go in there, but that'll be a future adventure of Tommy Travels, or Tommy Travels the Second. And so if you haven't been to the Minnesota Landscape Arboretum, check it out. I went in fall, but I know that they do it up right for Christmas and spring and summer. They have different themes that they do every year. So that's a place that I'll definitely be going back to again and again. And then another place that you have to go to is the largest candy store in Minnesota. This is another fascinating place. It's got candy from everywhere. If you liked candy as a kid and you're like, hey, I wonder if they have Pop Rocks. Yep, they've got it. How about Fun Dips? Yep, they've got it. How about gummy worms? All kinds of them. Laffy Taffy? They got it. Anything you can think of, they've got it there as far as candy. But that's not all they have. Not just candy. They've got popcorn. They've got all different types of salsa. They've got the biggest selection of soda that you can think of. All sorts of different, like orange and grapes and all funny little names and things like that. A whole section, aisles and aisles of just little bottles of soda. Or as Minnesotans say, pop. But we have people from all over the world now subscribing, so I'm just going to say soda because I think it's more common. And then they've got pies. They've got a bakery right in the store that does apple pies, apple crisp. They've got every different kind of pie that you can imagine. Strawberry rhubarb, pecan pies. They've got, and they're fresh. They just put them right out there on the counter. They're absolutely delicious looking, and they smell great. And so if you haven't been to the largest candy store in Minnesota, check it out, because not only do they have great candy and foods and things like that, but the decor is amazing. They've got a superhero themed decor where you can see Batman and Spider-Man hanging from the ceiling. You can see Wonder Woman and a big Hulk, and I mean, it's incredible. It's someplace you just have to check out. And then last on my list, I would have to say the Renaissance Festival. The Renaissance Festival has everything. They've got the food, they've got entertainment, they've got juggling, they've got talent. People that breathe fire, they've got that too. And so the Minnesota Renaissance Festival is something that happens every year in Minnesota, right during the fall time. And if you like belly dancing and you like fun games and characters walking around the park just coming up and talking to you in character from back in those times, it's a wonderful place to go. And then even jousting, that's fun to watch too. And I've been to the Renaissance several times, and I never actually sat and watched the jousting competition, but this year when I went, I did, and it was really fun. So there is your top 5 places to go, and thank you guys so much for sticking through that whole list there. I'm trying to get better at this because this is my weakness with YouTube. I'm really good at going around and showing people colorful things and fun festivities and stuff like that, but I am not good at this living room setup deal that we have going on here. So I'm trying to get better with that, and it's starting off 2019 by trying to turn a weakness into a strength. So this is kind of the low point of these types of videos here. Hopefully they will get better as they go along, and I'm going to just keep trying until I get it right. And so for sticking around, I'm going to give you one bonus location to check out in Minnesota, and that is Lake City, Minnesota. That is probably one of the most beautiful areas of the state during the summertime. I was driving down to Winona, and I happened to drive through Lake City. I saw all these flags by the lake and beautiful views, and I said, oh my gosh, I have to come back here. And I was so excited about it, I came back the next day. And as it turns out, right across the lake from Lake City is Pepin, Wisconsin. And that is the home of where Laura Ingalls Wilder was born, from Little House on the Prairie. And so I toured through that house, and then I came back around to the other side at Lake City and did a lake cruise on Lake Pepin. Lake Pepin, incidentally, is the birthplace of water skiing. That is where water skiing was invented. So that is a great place to check out as well. All of these places in Minnesota are fantastic to see. You must get to all of them. I left out places like the Mall of America in Duluth, the State Fair, things like that, which are obvious. I wanted to kind of pepper in some ones that aren't the first places that you think of when you think about Minnesota. And so check out these places if you've never been, for sure. They're worth seeing. They're all fun and fantastic. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do so. It helps support me and my future videos coming out. And then, you guys, thank you so much once again, and I hope to catch you on the flip side. This is a very important video. I know what...